Watching this trailer, I don't know what the is going on. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Yellow Wind. We are back again with another trailer. This one is called The Adventures of Cliff Booth. If you don't recognize that name, there's a movie that Quentin Tarantino did called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That movie was starring both Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. That movie's about us following a movie star that's still trying to get through his career, and that's played by Leonardo DiCaprio. And he has a stunt double that follows with him that does everything that he does too, and basically became his best friend, and his name is Cliff Booth, which is played by Brad Pitt. Because of that movie, Quentin actually wrote a sequel about Cliff Booth. If you watch the movie, you would think Leonardo DiCaprio's character is the lead, and technically kind of is, but we get more camera time of Cliff Booth, which is Brad Pitt's character. He's technically the supporting actor, but we see more of him. I think we're more engaged to him than when we are with Leo's character. And because of that, you know, Brad Pitt won his first Oscar as an actor in that movie. And if you've seen the movie, you know, the story is really crazy. It's kind of like a surrealism version of what Hollywood is, with, you know, characters and people that we know during that decade. But, you know, it's more of changing of the story, kind of like what Tarantino did with Inglourious Basterds. We knew how it ended in real life, but how it ended in the movie is kind of his way of ending the movie the way he wanted to end it, or retelling the story in his way. And this is kind of like his way of retelling Hollywood in his own sense. You know, in that movie, we do follow Charlie Manson and his following, where originally you're supposed to actually go and murder an actress that was played by Margot Robbie, but in real life, she was murdered. But in the movie, it was a change. So things flipped around. It's basically like he created his own ending to a true story. I'm wondering what this movie is about. I mean, of course, we're following Cliff Booth, but I wonder if we do see more of true events that he kind of changes the story around a little bit, like twists it in a Tarantino way. The only thing is, this movie is not directed by Tarantino. He wrote it, but it's directed by David Fincher, who's a phenomenal director. If you've seen any of his movies, just look him up. You know, he's done classics. He's a legend. So seeing him direct this, it got me very excited. So what we're about to do is we're about to watch this trailer. It's a teaser trailer, and it's actually being distributed by Netflix, I believe. So let's see, take a look, and let's go.
So you helped Rick subdue those hippie intruders, huh?
Something like that.
You said that like this more to it.
I don't possess many talents, but I know better than getting away with a good story.
A lot of cursing.
Think you're real funny, huh? I'm a little fun.
So that was The Adventures of Cliff Booth. Watching this trailer, I don't know what the is going on. If you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you know, his career is being the stunt double to Leonardo DiCaprio's character, but he's a very good combat person. He knows how to fight, and he's almost like, I want to say a vigilante, but in a sense, it's like he's an anti-hero. You know what I mean? He's not meant to be a hero, but like if he has to do what he needs to do, you know, he's a very confident guy and he can fight. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you should check it out. He actually has a fight with Bruce Lee, like the Bruce Lee, well, not the Bruce Lee, but Bruce Lee character of basically a version of Bruce Lee in the movie. And you'll find out who wins that fight. It looks like his, you know, The Adventures of Cliff Booth, he's going throughout LA back in the old days of Hollywood, and you know, he probably has a lot of run-ins through different situations that gets to the point where, you know, he has to fight some motherfuckers, and that's something his character would do. But you know, like I said, story doesn't tell much. You see different people and characters. The trailer looks kind of, I don't know, maybe it's my screen or something, it looks kind of dark to look at, so I can't recognize any faces, but it's definitely very vulgar, I'll tell you that. It's a vulgar movie, more vulgar than me, but I hope there's another trailer that kind of shows a little more of what's going on. But as far as I know, it's like we're following his journey of him, him going throughout LA. I don't know if he's still in the film business, but I'm sure he is watching this, but maybe he retired. Maybe, he's going into another direction of his life. But, as far as I know, it's like if you've seen the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he was just living life, living in this trailer and doing his thing there. So I can tell this is going to be a really good movie. I hope there's a better trailer that really explains a lot more. But with me, I'm a little bit biased because I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And regardless of what this trailer is, I'm just excited to see what it's all about. Regular Joe Schmo might not know this, but they should go watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and maybe that might intrigue you into leading into this movie. And that movie came out pre-pandemic, so you should be able to see that and get a gauge of what that movie is and get a gauge of this character. So now that once this movie comes out, you'll be able to understand who he is already. And hopefully you'll enjoy it too. I can tell you it's going to be a lot of action. With David Fincher, I want to see his direction in this. I want to see how he goes about telling a Tarantino story. Tarantino, he has written a lot of films that other people have directed. One of his go-to directors that he uses, like Robert Rodriguez, but the list goes on. And yeah, so I can't wait for this to come out. What do you think? You let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Comment below and let me know what you think. Do you want to see this or not? But until then, see you in the next one.